I first saw this story from Dexerto, and they said tech YouTuber JerryRigEverything claims the Switch 2 is basically invincible. He had to smack the screen 50 times with metal pliers to shatter it, and the console still worked. There's some images of it after smashing it over and over and over again and breaking the front panel off of the Joy-Con. This is after JerryRigEverything forcefully removed a plastic layer of protection that sits on top of the glass, meaning the Switch 2 is even more durable than it looks. Nintendo released the Switch 2 on June 5th, but just days before it dropped, issued a warning about the new hybrid console screen. Company shared that there is an anti-scattering adhesive film on the screen to help protect users from glass shards should anything happen to the device while using it, and made it clear that owners shouldn't remove it. Now, to be fair, when I got my Switch 2 and opened it up, the first thing I thought of is, oh, am I going to be able to notice this when I open it and play it? And nope. I thought it might be like a little bit of a film thing that you might be able to peel or something. It's like, no, you can't even tell it's there. Even though people are saying that you can. Yeah, you can't. You can't. YouTuber JerryRigEverything, however, has decided to ignore that warning and remove the screen protector anyway. After doing so, he was quite surprised by the results. After removing the plastic layer and doing a complete teardown of the Joy-Cons, JerryRigEverything decided to test Nintendo's warning for himself. To do so, he grabbed a big pair of pliers and started banging on the screen. He was quite surprised at the results. If watching this doesn't give you confidence in the Switch 2 durability, nothing will, the YouTuber said before he went back to banging on the screen. Only after 50 hits with my ridiculously large pliers do we see that indeed there is a thin layer of glass on the surface. And as you see in slow motion, Nintendo is right, and it does indeed explode into little needle-like shards of glass without that top layer. Topic starts at 11:31. So let's check this.
So it's been forbidden by the Nintendo deities to remove the external plastic layer over this Nintendo Switch 2 screen. But since I am not beholden to animated Newmans of the Mario world, I'm just gonna do it. The Switch 2 might not survive though, so preemptive effing chat for my boy. The screen protector is extremely difficult to remove. It definitely won't be falling off on its own. Nintendo says this plastic top layer is here to help prevent shards of glass from going everywhere if the Switch screen.
Sorry about the volume.
Much like automotive windshields are laminated to enhance safety.
I am surprised that it peels off like that. I thought it would be like one with the glass and breaking the glass when you tried to do this. It really is just like a sticker that you cannot see. That's crazy.
This does make me think, however, if this glass underneath the plastic, the digitizer, is so susceptible to fragmenting, then it might not be glued to the LCD. This would make repairs easier, of course, but it's just one of the many answers we are looking for during this teardown. I am very surprised to see my razor blade still scratching the surface under the plastic protector, even after it's been removed. So either the layer under the plastic is also plastic, or we're just scratching whatever remains of the screen protector adhesive.
Oh, that is interesting. Okay.
I have so many questions.
And all right, let's skip ahead here.
Or have redundancy.
To see him start
and it's
smacking
like a real bummer that Nintendo didn't release a transparent version like they did with the Game Boy Color back in the day, or the old school N64 controllers. I saw a statistic. We're going to skip that word. I saw a stat that said 75% of American gamers play for at least 4 hours every week, and I feel like hardware that's capable of providing that many hours of quality entertainment deserves to be shown off. Which is why D-Brand and I made the Switch 2 Teardown Skin Ultra Special. There are 17 Easter eggs this time around, and I'll have D-Brand.
That, by the way, if Nintendo made one of these where it was just completely clear on the back, that would be amazing. Like they did this back with the Game Boy Color and the N64. Of course, those were like rose colored and green colored and stuff. But just to have a completely clear one is pretty badass.
Vibrator coils to the Joy-Con skin before we start shipping. And it's all because of Nintendo hardware design that the Switch 2 survives both my durability test and my
It
teardown.
looks
And
great.
with success like that, it should be illegal to hide the goodies away on the inside. Link is down in the description. Speaking of illegal, we did remove the plastic screen protector from earlier. And the only way to truly tell if the Switch 2 screen is going to scatter into bits if we shatter it is if we shatter it.
That's all right. So these are some pretty solid hits, like not super hard, but for glass without protectant, they're pretty hard hits with pliers. And those are decent sized pliers. Not ridiculously oversized, but decent size. Ooh.
After 13 hits, the Joy-Cons pop off, and I'm starting to think there isn't any glass, and the whole thing is shatterproof.
It's like he's practicing to protest in LA right now.
Plastic.
Sorry, I had to.
Another 14 very solid hits, and the Switch 2 is shockingly still alive.
I am shocked. This-
15 more and still.
This is without the protectant sealant sticker, too. This is legit.
Nothing. This is wild. If watching this doesn't give you confidence in the Switch 2 durability, nothing will.
Wow. Avert your eyes if you love Nintendo.
Only after 50 hits from my ridiculously large pliers do we see that indeed there is a thin layer of glass on the surface.
Wow.
And as you can see from the slow motion, Nintendo was right, and it does indeed explode.
Oh,
into
yeah.
little needle-like shards of glass
You see the needles? All these tiny little needle things flying out of it?
without that laminate top layer. So I would definitely leave yours intact and in place. Most of the glass is still glued to the LCD, but there are still plenty of free shards of pulverized glass and dust
Wow.
that could embed themselves into little kids' fingers or eyeballs. So I'm glad that Nintendo has a top layer and nobody should take it off. Even though I did get a black screen of death, after a quick reset, Nintendo says it was just kidding about being game over and is ready to keep on playing.
How is it still working? What the hell?
Basically, invincible. I'm a big fan of the Nintendo Switch 2. Grab your teardown skin at the link in the description, and thanks a ton for watching. I'll see you around.
That was definitely impressive. Holy crap. And this kind of reminds me of, you guys probably saw that channel that was trying to become famous by throwing the Switch 2 onto the ground. Or was it here? This is Plain Rock 124. They said banned from Nintendo San Francisco. After they bought the Switch 2, they just walked outside and hucked it onto the ground.
Get it on the 3DS. Yes, so worth it. Sure. Sure.
Security.
Crazy.
The cops came. They're gonna arrest us.
That's crazy.
What happened? How did that?
I don't know. He just started breaking it. That's crazy.
Yeah, he's doing it right in front of the Nintendo store, but it is technically on public property on the sidewalk. But the police could probably say like he's causing a disturbance or something.
I mean, I guess, but dang, I waited all day in line for it.
You gotta explain, why did you do that?
It's for fun.
Because you want to like get on the media,
Yep.
right? It's like a video thing. All right.
Yep, for fun.
Cool. All right. Good.
Wait.
There you go.
Can we take a picture?
Yes, yes.
I love your videos.
Thank you. I have a warp pipe pass. I might get another. I'm gonna get another one.
Dang.
So this other channel, JerryRigEverything, wasn't the first one to destroy a Switch 2 to test it. This guy on Plain Rock did it basically on launch night. So everyone saw how sturdy this was, just for attention. True, Troy Renlin. Technically, he is littering if shards of glass are falling off of it and he's not picking them up. That is good point. Good point. But yeah, people are destroying the Switch 2s. And I got to be honest, I am pretty impressed that the level of durability of these things is probably 10 times what I expected from it. Like that is legit. But anyways, I'll leave that one there.